Okay.
Hi, hello, everybody.
Hello.
Very big welcome to our Woman in Wisdom podcast today. And as everyone knows, today is
Oh,
You're
Michaela's
frozen.
frozen.
You're frozen.
Valentine's theme, and we want to talk about that. And yeah, for me, it's a big topic because of the last weeks I come across this topic and
Michaela, let me interrupt you. You were frozen for a moment. Let's say again to our listeners what we're talking about today because this topic is really cool.
yeah, thank you, Camilla, for this advice. I didn't get it. So, yeah, again, tomorrow is Valentine's Day, as you know, and we want to talk about unconditional love. Several weeks ago, I come across this theme, and yeah, somehow for somebody, it may be a little bit a hurting theme because when you go over it, maybe you get back to your childhood and you see that you maybe have learned out of your childhood you have to do or behave in a certain way to get love from your parents or even love from your grandparents. And what is also an interesting topic, because that's why I come over that, I was thinking or studying about the topic, how can I allow to flow money into my life? And I heard about that to allow to let flow love into your life has also something to do to allow to flow money into your life. So, and that's somehow why I get over this topic. And yeah, I had soul reading, and she was telling me I am not allow myself to let flow into my life that amount of love. I not allow myself, so my ego doesn't allow myself, or I think I doesn't allow myself. So, and I go over that, and it was yeah really exciting what I get out of my childhood. Then I yeah get this knowing that I have to do something to get love. That's what the learning was coming about of it. Yeah, to I have to behave in a certain way to get love. I have to do certain things to be loved, and so on. So, yeah, what do you think, guys, about this topic?
Okay, it sounds like, well, for me, this topic is such an important one because it's like the root, to me, it feels a bit like it's the root of all evil in a way, all the suffering and pain. I'm not worthy of love. So where does it bring us in our day-to-day activities and feelings and what we do, how we come across, how we show up in the world? Well, in my field of work is all about showing up in the world because I coach my clients to share their message, to be bold, to be brave, to come out. And if they don't feel worthy of love, they cannot do it. So this is, yeah, I could even say that this is one of my brand's enemies, definitely. One is toxic perfectionism, and it's kind of related when we are afraid to just show up because we think our nose is too big or oh, we don't like our voice or all these typical things that my clients struggle with. The voice is actually very common. They don't like to hear their voice. They're not used to it. So, and then it goes much deeper into self-hate. Even I hate myself because someone told me that I'm not worthy when I was a kid, or someone treated me bad. From my own experience, one of my grandmothers was very mean to me as a kid. So partly because I'm a woman and she didn't like women in general. It's very weird. It's very strange. But she was. I'm now watching the series Vikings, and and I'm like looking back at the Vikings 1,000 years ago, and I'm now like, wow, we're not sometimes not so far from it because how women were treated in that time and how I was treated sometimes from my own grandmother when I was a kid. I don't feel like a victim. Okay, I just want to say this. I don't feel like a victim. I'm a grown up person. I'm in charge of my life, but this is something that created a wound in me, and that I needed to heal. I mean, I needed to heal this wound, that um, that boys were treated so much better by the grandma than me, my cousin, the little girls in the family. Why? We never understood why we are less worthy than the boys. And I had to deal with that after in life, to so I think it's so important, and I really believe that this needs so much healing to. And when we feel that if we are not worthy to receive love, to receive money, to receive affection, to receive high, um, high, I don't know if I can say it like this, like high quality people in our life, high quality partners in our life, not to have these painful experiences that are, unfortunately, we are familiar with them. That is the problem. We're familiar with pain, so that's the healing. So that's what I think. Yeah.
And do you want to quick to share how you get over it? How could you handle this? What did you do about that to
Mm.
somehow heal this? Or maybe what you're doing with your clients?
Yeah, yeah, there are many things we do. For me, inner child work was one of the biggest breakthroughs in my personal development. When I started doing inner child work, that things really, really changed in terms of self love and self acceptance, and those dialogues with inner child. And huh, and I think it's an ongoing practice and process to accept myself. I remember when I started working on my self image. Well, you know what it is. I remember I wrote these lines: I fully love and accept myself. And I repeated them every day because they didn't feel natural. And in the beginning, I was reading this and I was like, I fully love and I fully accept myself. I felt that there was a gap between me and those words, and so I knew that I need to repeat so that my unconscious mind really gets used to it. So that's what I did. That helped me a lot. And now when I read it, I have a lot more now, but those words don't feel unnatural anymore. They are organic part of me. So that helps.
Great. So your advice for the people, for our listeners and people that are watching our pod, you can say, okay, you recommended inner child work. So
Mm,
for
but
you and self-image.
but I recommend to work with the coach
Yeah,
just to get out of this nonsense as soon as possible and not to waste time. Like really get help, get support, and someone who just takes you by the hand and guides you how you can accept and yeah, stop this nonsense.
great, great. And you other guys, how are you about you?
Go on, breathe.
Okay. Yeah, it's quiet here now. All the dogs already had their their say in the morning. Um, yeah, I mean, yeah, inner child work is really wonderful. For me, I'm always looking at beneath the surface, like tracking where did that initial like glitch happen. And a lot of times, what I notice for clients, and then of course within myself, is that it happens even when a mother is pregnant with us and how she's feeling. And so all of this imprinting happens when we're pre-verbal. So a lot of the things that we're carrying through that create a reality of less than unconditional love, is beneath our awareness. So how do we work with that, right? So how do we unravel those patterns? Because a lot of those inner dialogues that we have with ourselves are also beneath our awareness. And as we talk about regularly, that creates a vibration, which then attracts that experience, which perpetuates that belief that you're not worthy or valuable, right? So, and we each experience that in our unique ways with our attractor field. So for me, it took It took years and years. I noticed the patterns in my life. So I start paying attention to my life experiences. And over time, I was seeing this pattern. And I began to recognize for me in relationship that I was repeating different aspects of my parents' marriage. And I was like, okay, this is great. So with each relationship, I kept kind of fine tuning, but then I'd always end up in the same place with the same patterns of betrayal and, you know, that you know, the story that most of us know so well, and it's in our culture and in our psyche. And so then, like several years ago, I had made this commitment that, okay, this next relationship's going to be the one to heal all my relationship patterns. It's a big ask, right? But I was committed and dedicated to that. A few years, into it, the relationship was falling apart. And I'm like, oh my gosh, here I am again. I thought I was doing it differently. I had a different awareness about myself. I've been, integrating these new tools that I was using. But here I was again. And so the relationship ended, and I took a road trip with my Muji and Lilu around Vancouver Island by ourselves for like 10 days. And I'm driving, and I remembered my intention about healing all my relationship patterns. Because for me, that's where I want to feel that feeling of unconditional love. Like for me, that's where that is. And and then the thought came immediately, well, what if the healing is in the separation? I was like, whoa, okay, this is how it's healing. I can embrace that. And I said, well, you know what, Bree? You've been doing everything you could, the best that you know how, but you keep ending up in the same place. And in that moment, I dedicated myself to listening to my heart. And so now my motto is letting my heart lead the way. So I stopped navigating from here and I started navigating from here and really listening to this part of myself and letting her guide me. And it's really opened up all of those avenues for me to experience myself in such greater capacity that I'm able to love myself in ways that I never did before. And I'm attracting that in all areas of my life. I'm seeing it as you were talking about, Michaela, how it's, everything is connected. So I'm seeing prosperity flow to me. You guys flew, you flowed to me, and we're beautiful mirrors for one another. And so I keep attracting opportunities and connections and prosperity and people and ideas and new things to study about that all help me connect with my self-love and receive unconditional love, which to me is directly source. So when I can connect directly to source, everything springs from that. I'm a vessel and conduit of that, and I can bring that to other people in the work that I do.
Wow, that's amazing, Bree. So maybe you can quick share how do you do that connecting with your heart, because I think that's the essence what's coming out of that, what you were talking about, that you have this insight of that you let yourself lead more from the heart than from the conscious mind. So maybe you can show our viewers this little step of where do we find our inner heart leading space, or
Well, how do you get your head out of the way? So, what things can you do to get your head out of the way? For me, movement is crucial. So, there's amazing dance practices. I use, like the 5 rhythms, for example. That's a wonderful way. Also, the breath is another way that I can quickly get out of the headspace and into the heart. Or any one of my sounds. As soon as I start striking a bowl, it just creates that coherent state in my field. And or we can do guided meditations from other people. Writing is also another way. I have 5 primary tools that I use: the breath, the sound, movement, language, so writing, and art. So I also draw and paint and everything. All of those things kind of take me out of my headspace, and I'm able to connect a lot more easily in that realm of oneness, of heart space, of juiciness, of connection, and uh, and you feel it, and you can even go and do things in self-care, like go get some acupuncture, go get some body work. What can you do to take care of yourself? Like if you just did one thing each day that you to take care of yourself, what would that be? And that starts to cultivate this healthy relationship of loving yourself.
Wow, thank you so much for giving us these golden nuggets for our viewers here today. And now it's coming to Camilla. What's about you?
I was about to cry for approximately 5 times during this conversation. As you all girls know, but the listeners do not. I'm very much, very, very much in the point of finding self love right now. And I really don't know what to say. And approximately 100 of thoughts came to my mind within this conversation. But well, for me, number one, for me myself, it doesn't have to be someone else's past, but maybe someone will find the pattern for him or herself in this. For me, the teacher of self love for my kids. I'm a mother of four, and when I realized that I am becoming in conflict with my mother when I become a mother myself. I was not aware why. But now, when my oldest son is 14 years old, almost 15, I clearly see what maternity is. And that loving them means attention to them, means working for them for their good, for their purpose that they're not aware of, even because they're too young yet. But I know that they're going to live their life, and this life is going to have a quality. I don't know what quality, but they will have to find their way, right? And my role is to make them find it the best possible. And that love to my kids is also, well, giving them small things like giving them food they like and taking them to the cinema and simply paying attention to them as they are. And my second question was, do I do that to myself? And I realized that I was not, because I was always dedicated to do something for someone else or take responsibility for someone else or sacrifice this or that for someone else. And within life, this things were getting bigger and deeper and deeper, and finally I forgot about myself completely. It was a huge mistake. And since I realized that I behave completely different towards my kids than to myself, I started to treat myself like I treat them, or I do my best to treat them. And then the miracles started to happen, because I realized that I can, without a big effort, make myself much happier within an hour, for example, treating myself this way. And on the other side, when I started to treat myself better, they started to understand what I'm talking to them. Although previous to that, I had the feeling that I'm talking, 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 teaching, 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 nothing happens. So it started to happen. And beside that, I'm the person that, Michaela, I'm still thankful to you, and I will be for sure for till the end of my life. That I'm the person that has to prove own value to deserve love, and it doesn't work this way. And you will probably ask me what did I do to realize that. So as I'm in a quite hard period at my work, and I had to find out what I accomplished and achieved within a year of working there. I also made a list of my accomplishments at work. And when I started writing, I realized that the A4 of printed page is not enough. I have to go to another. And it was like, wow. I said that to myself. It was, wow. I did so many things. I completed so many topics and subjects. I supported so many people. Why am I feeling guilty? It makes no sense. And well, another question was, did I really have to prove to myself what I have accomplished to understand that I'm really good at what I'm doing? And it's the process. It doesn't happen in 1 minute, neither in half an hour. Every day now, I am discovering something new and new and new about it. But, well, if we're not taught that from the beginning, finding self love is certainly a process and it takes time. So, what I would like to say is take your time to understand how you can love yourself and how much you can love yourself. That's it.
Wow, thank you, Camilla. So that's a great end. So, and yeah, what I get out of all of you is, so a good thing if you are at the point where you don't know where to go right now alone. So maybe searching for help, searching a coach, searching a mentor, searching a mentor, whatever that can help you or guide you from to the place where you want to be, where you want to get. And yeah, so
Oops.
You're frozen again.
for help. And
You
Michaela,
got frozen again.
you have all this beautiful stuff to say, and it just the internet can't
so
handle it.
here
You'll have to.
we are.
We need one another. I think what you were saying is
Someone
we
else
need one
can
another.
name and find an end.
Oh, she
Oops.
disappeared. So
Yeah.
I think she was saying, and you guys can also share, I think she's saying that we need one another to do this. This isn't a solo journey, although it isn't a solo experience. And that, as you know, Arta, you were saying, find someone who can help guide you there, because even for me, like being clairvoyant, it's easy for me to see other people, but it's not so easy to see myself. And we need one another to reflect back the love that we carry, and they can help you see that in yourself a lot more easily. And I know we do that for one another every day. And and we have people outside of our group that we also go to see the beautiful reflections in the world. And so I was hopefully saying what you were saying, Michaela, when you got cut.
I am sure you are. So sorry for that.
Yeah. And I want to add, Brie, it's totally right. We cannot see ourselves complete in total, complete. And it's so good to have someone who could sincerely help you to understand and see yourself and just talk about it for just few minutes every day. Or
Hmm. I think that this topic
now
of
I
self.
now I had that phone call. Sorry. And as we are here all together, we are talking every day. It's also possible to have, I don't know, a coach or mentor who'd help you to understand how powerful you are.
Oh yeah, I also want to mention that I think it's not like a luxury, or it's not really self-love and self-acceptance. It's not a luxury, it's a necessity, because it actually, if we are not doing that, if you look at the whole humanity, like if you zoom out, then it creates disasters in the world, because when people hate themselves and they don't feel worthy, they start wars. They kill each other. They kill, like, watch Vikings. And you know, it gives me a lot of like aha moments in regards to how are we humans behaving as humans, and where it is coming from. I think it's really, this topic is a serious one, and everyone should heal these wounds. The responsibility is there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So don't forget to subscribe that you don't lose any part of us because we have so many golden nuggets in it. And I think we love comments. Please share for everybody that you think it is worthwhile for. And yeah, be with us the next week and have a great Valentine's Day and start to love yourself today with maybe one step that we would share, we had share with you. So see you soon.
Bye bye. Thank you, guys.